So I'm going to tell you something pretty wild that I just figured out, and you're going to want to hear this. Do you remember the story of the Kandahar giant, which goes back to 2002 when the U.S. Army was doing a patrol over in Kandahar? They were in a valley, and all of a sudden this big giant came out of a cave, impaled one of the captains, and was taken off into a disclosed facility known as the Vatican. But anyway, that took place all after September 11th, 9/11 of 2001, which I believe was all tied into this opening of the abyss and the giants coming out onto the earth in these days as well. But I'm going to prove it to you even more, because I believe what took place here, oh, and by the way, 1 year after the Kandahar giant is when they found the tomb of Gilgamesh, which by the way is tied to Freemasonry and the G, which also goes back to Tubal-Cain, but that's a whole nother video in itself. But that's also when they found King Gilgamesh's lost tomb in Iraq. But I'm going to point out something absolutely nuts to you that's taking place right now. Well, I was looking into some of the places that the U.S. and Israel have been striking during this whole thing. And they have been striking some pretty historical sites. And I want to show you one of those. So here's a list of the top sites that have been destroyed, okay? You can read this yourself. It happened after February 28th. This is the 9th through the 16th. You have this taking place. All of these places getting destroyed. But I want you to focus in on this one. The Koramabad. I don't know how to say that word. But that valley. This valley that has human occupation history dating back to 63,000 BC. Well, now read this with me. The mythical context of that place. The valley caves like Kaldar and Yafteh have actually yielded evidence of Neanderthals and early humans living together roughly 63,000 years ago. In local folklore, these ancient habitations are sometimes mythologicalized as larger-than-life figures, but no modern sightings have been verified by that source down below. And not just there, all over the world right now, okay? In mid-March, there's been an increased talk of giant figures or cryptids. And one of these, around the exact same time, the 6th through the 10th, as listed here, okay, you have the Bigfoot Society reported 6 separate sightings of 8 to 10 foot tall figures in wooded areas near Montua and Garrettsville, Ohio. But back overseas, the recent bombings in Iran have likely resurfaced this legend because the Imam Ali missile base, which they blew up, is built directly into the same mountain range as those caves that I was telling you about with Neanderthal and cryptid history. And read the rest of this that Google happened to say to me. Proponents of the giant theory often claim that deep penetration bunker buster bombs used in such strikes could disturb or unearth legendary creatures hidden in deep subterranean systems. However, the Department of Defense, which is so honest, has consistently stated there is no record of any such entity in Kandahar or elsewhere. Google also admitted this. It says the targeting of underground Iranian missile silos carved into cave-rich mountains mirrors the setting of the original Kandahar legend. Well, I want to remind you of something. Last year, I made a very important video for you guys on Project Bluebeam and the Toronto Protocol 666, in which we read in depth that there was going to be a point coming right now in which they were going to have things become unearthed, dug up, or either blown to bits like we're seeing right now, and being uncovered that would make people question in depth their religions and things that they believed and were told. Okay? Like you have your pastors telling you things like giants didn't really exist, they were this and that, and they're all telling stuff, and then you see things really happening in front of your face, those type things. Well, it said this would be happening, but it also says that there would be a point in time right now that we're living at the end of the world where it would be like the days of Noah, where giants would come back up and there'd be this great war, like the great and final battle of the 4 quarters of the earth, and Gog and Magog at war at the end of the world, at Armageddon, which only happens at the short season of Satan at the very end of the world. Well, I want you to think hard about what's truly going on over there in those cave systems and what could possibly be going on right beneath your own feet.